Ah, it's working.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of our Mystical Wellness podcast. Today, I'm joined by Liam, Michael, Paige, and Liam is basically a Viking, is how I see Liam. So, Liam, tell us about yourself. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
No, you're very welcome. It's good to be here. I'm doing well. I think everyone's in the same boat really when it comes to this massive heat wave. Just takes it out of you. So I've had a pretty full day today.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
It's boiling here, so I'm going to be fanning away. Fanning away.
yeah, as I say, I've got the floor fan on. It's doing absolutely nothing but pushing hot air around. So
Yeah.
can't win. Can't win.
So tell us a bit about yourself. When did you kind of get that love for Norse mythology and all the other things that you're into? When did that kick in for you?
It's been a gradual thing over many years. I was first introduced to Norse culture when I was about 7 or 8. Um, my dad is a big he's a big history buff anyway, but he's a big film buff as well. So when I was very young, he showed me the Vikings film with Kurt Russell. Sorry, but yeah, and Kurt Douglas. Burt Russell and Kurt Douglas. There you go. um, and there was just something about that film that made me think, yeah, I like that. I like the idea of the ships um and the songs and the fact they're all there with the drinking horns and things. That I was drawn to that sort of imagery from a very early age. Um, then I discovered Lord of the Rings when I was about 10 or 11. With the films coming out, I must have been about 10 because 91 to 2001 when Fellowship of the Ring came out. So yeah, I was 10 years old when the Fellowship came out. And my dad again went, right, okay, the films are coming out. Before you see the film, I want you to read the books. So I read the books. And again, I was introduced to many aspects of Norse mythology and Anglo-Saxon mythology through Tolkien's work. Um, the Dwarvish language being fashioned directly from the Elder Futhark runes really drew me in, and I felt a connection with those symbols. So as I went into my teens, I think I was about 14 when my now wife Jem got me a book for my birthday, or was it Christmas? I think it was my birthday. But it was Northern Magic by Edward Thorson, and that just blew everything wide open for me. Um, I was introduced in proper, you could say, to the Elder Futhark runes and the Norse Pantheon and the Norse mythology. It was all laid out for me. So all the things that I'd been drawn to in my younger years really started to make sense. I was like, wow, this is what I've been searching for. So really, it was at about 14, going on 15, that I really like took off with it.
That's brilliant. So you also do Seiðr Magic, is that right?
Yeah, Seiðr Magic, yeah. That's something that I've picked up from about the age of 18 onwards. I kept reading about Seiðr and hearing references to Seiðr in different podcasts and videos and things. And I was intrigued by it. I thought, okay, so what is it like? Is it related to sooth, like soothsaying, which indeed it is, but that's only one aspect of Seiðr, which is such a broad subject, really. It's essentially Scandinavian shamanism and the practice of shamanic magic, but obviously incorporating the Norse gods and goddesses into it as well. Um,
Wasn't
that
it originally just for females, though? It wasn't for men.
it it was a feminine mystery.
Yeah.
In the same way that in Christianity you get Magdalene followers, Magdalene devotees, um, and it's seen as a very like a feminine practice, a feminine culture, you could say, but males can still partake, and it was like that in the earliest days of Norse society, up until King Harald Fairhair, who basically unified Norway and Denmark. he imposed a law saying that men could not practice Seiðr, and he labeled it as something called ergi, which basically means unmanly or effeminate. And the idea was that if men were practicing Seiðr, then they were afflicted by evil spirits in some way, and that they were doing so they weren't aligned with what they should have been doing, which was going out and farming and trading and raiding, etc., etc. So in the same way that later on when communism took over, and this idea that if you were bourgeoisie, you were ostracized and kind of pushed out of society because you weren't doing the manual labor that the rest of the men were doing. You were focusing on the wrong things and not contributing in the way you should have. Um, in a way, I kind of look to that as not that he was deliberately saying you need to contribute in a manly way. Harold Finehair was, or Fairhair, interchangeable, was quite a devout person. He embraced Christianity when it came up from the south, but at the same time, he was a devotee of oh, which one was it? Njord? I think, yeah, he was a devotee of Njord, who's the Norse god of the sea. And he had this idea that certain secrets were sacrosanct and had to be kept sacrosanct. So, in a sense, I do see it not just as a social move that he did or a political move. I think it was also to keep the secrets of Seiðr sacred, because so many people were just practicing them out of context and they were being passed on to Christians, which was, of course, a massively patriarchal religion, even still is today, but back then especially so. And the priests were the Christian priests were starting to get hold of Seiðr and starting to twist it. And I think Harold's move was actually to protect the ancient mysteries by singling them only to women who were excluded from Christian society, really. So it was a way of keeping the two traditions separate for posterity, as it were.
That's really interesting. So you consider yourself to be like a Norse shaman, and we did when we did that shamanic workshop together. That was so good with that hands-on healing that you did.
Yeah,
Is that something that you teach?
it is something that I teach. Yeah.
Mm,
Now it's in a way it can be regarded as a form of Reiki.
yeah.
Now I got my Reiki Master Certificate about, good grief, how long ago now? Been here for 2 years. I was in my last place for 7 years. So yeah, about 7 or 8 years ago.
Mm,
Um, I got my level 3B Reiki, so I can teach Reiki.
yeah.
My Reiki sensei, Ian Pittman,
Oh right. Yeah.
he said from the very beginning, the way that I practice Reiki is quite unique in that I go in and I visualize what it is that I'm actually doing. I don't
Mm,
just do the hands hovering over and feeling the energy. I
yeah.
go into the person, and it's more like a form of psychic surgery, is how he put it.
Mm,
So when I went looking into psychic surgery more deeply, there's a version of it in every indigenous shamanic culture around the world. Um, the animals that I work with um, are very rooted in the Nordic culture. So obviously, I've got the wolf there. I have the raven. I've got the bear. I've got the stag. Um, I also work with snake and owl as well occasionally.
mm.
Um, the most exotic of the animals that I work with is hawk moth,
Okay. Yeah.
which is basically the one that sort of guides me
Mm,
on the journeys. It's a shame everything's up in the air at the moment because I'm having this building work done.
yeah.
I painted my drum skin with the hawk moth because that's the animal that takes me on the journey
Yeah.
and helps me
Amazing.
move into the other world. So yeah, I painted her on my drum. and I'd love to show you, but as I say, I
Yeah.
don't know where anything is at the moment.
So for people who are looking to get into shamanism and they don't know where to start, tell us a little bit about the worlds within shamanism, because I think that's something that we covered when we did that workshop about going into the different worlds.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So in shamanism or shamanic traditions worldwide, there's this idea of there being three worlds. So there's the lower, middle, and upper world. We live in the middle world, as Tolkien put it in
Midgard.
yeah. Well,
Midgard.
yeah. Tolkien referred to it as Middle Earth, didn't he? But that is essentially what Midgard means, is the middle world or the Middle Earth. And it's an idea that goes all the way back to the Stone Age. There are depictions of the world in three different levels. So we live in the middle world. The spirits of the ancestors, the animal spirit guides, and the plant spirits all reside in the lower world, within the earth and under the earth. They're often found in caves and things like that, which is why caves and mountains and volcanoes in certain parts of the world were all seen as sacred gateways into the lower world. And then, of course, you've got the upper world, which is where the deities, the creating spirits, the astral beings live, what we would term the gods and goddesses, or the angels, or whatever you want to refer to them as. They are beings of light. And they are credited with not only creating the three worlds, but also disseminating all knowledge of magic and spiritual communication through all of those worlds as well. Within the Norse mythology specifically, they've expanded on that. So there are 9 worlds with Midgard or Earth at the center. The other 8 worlds represent the extremes of hot and cold, masculine and feminine, and light and dark. So in the upper tier of Yggdrasil, the equivalent of the upper world, you've got 3 worlds there. So you have Asgard, which is where the Aesir gods live. You have Vanaheim, which is where the Vanir gods live. And then you have Alfheim, which is where the ascended ancestors go, or the Alfar, which are the elves or the fairy folk, the fae folk. They're seen as ancestors who have become almost godlike. In the middle world, other than Midgard, you've also got Svartalfheim, which is the realm of the dark elves and the dwarves. And you have Jotunheim, which is the realm of the giants. They reside sort of parallel to us, very physical dimensions, you could say. And then
Like
in the
like
low,
Loki and the Frost Giants.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jotunheim is said to be a world of rock and ash,
Oh.
that is constantly shifting and changing, because the Jotun are essentially beings of chaos, but not in a sort of evil demonic sense, but they are the essence of change. So like freak storms and things like that.
Mm.
But yeah, so Jotunheim, there are actually 3 giant realms. Jotunheim is basically the rock giants, you could say. Then in the lower world, you have Helheim, which is the underworld for us, where the spirits of the dishonorable dead are sent to go. Say dishonorable. It's basically the the place where ordinary people go. You
Yeah.
know, people who pass of old age or of illness or whatever without having left their mark on the world, without having grown as a spirit.
Mm.
They go to Helheim to wait to come back and try again, essentially. Either side of Helheim, you have Muspel, which is the realm of fire and heat, was where the fire giants like Surt, where they reside, and on the other side you've got Niflheim, which is where the frost giants live. So when you're talking about Loki and the frost giants,
Yeah.
that's where they come from.
So in the Avengers movies, what did they get wrong? What did they get right when the Thor movie?
Uh, Well, to be honest, I don't watch the Marvel movies.
Really?
I'm not a Marvel fan. I gave up after Iron Man 2. I've not seen
Yeah.
any of the ones after that.
Oh, I thought
With
you would have. I thought you would have watched the Thor and the Loki stuff.
with the exception of the X-Men First Class movies,
Yeah.
I did follow those because I like Michael Fassbender as an actor, so I thought I'll give it
Yeah.
a go, and I actually really like them. But the Thor movies, when they came out, I
Mm.
thought that's going to be a joke. It's going to be a parody.
Yeah.
Apparently, from what I've heard from other, Norse enthusiasts,
Yeah.
he said the first two Thor movies, are actually pretty good, but they get steadily worse from there, is what
Oh
I've been
yeah. The
told. So.
movies are good. I just wondered about the accuracy
Yeah,
of the knowledge on that. Yeah.
I've not watched them all the way through, as I say, because I'm not a
Mm.
Marvel fan. But the bits I have seen and the bits I've analysed, there's not much that they get right, to be honest. It's as with everything with Hollywood,
Yeah.
anything that Hollywood touches turns to dust.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, in the sense that Thor can throw Mjolnir and it comes back to him,
Yeah.
that's accurate. That's
Okay.
good. Um, the fact that it's called Mjolnir and they
Yeah.
actually pronounce it properly, that's quite good as well. Um, uh,
Yeah.
the 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 giants, you could say, in the second movie, is it Thor the Dark World? Is it
Yeah.
called?
Is
Yeah,
that second? Yeah. I'm not sure which
yeah.
one, but yeah.
And then it's the second one. They're fairly accurate in their
Yeah.
portrayal, I suppose.
Mm.
Especially with the way that they can move between dimensions.
Right.
It's quite interesting. But other than that, I wouldn't say that there's very much that the Marvel movies get right. They
Yeah.
can't even pronounce, where he says, "Oh, we have to beat Loki to Nidavellir." It's Nithavellir. Is that Nithavellir? Is that what you're trying to say? Not Nidavellir? Yeah, well, whatever, whatever. It's American Hollywood, so
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
That's okay.
we'll let pronunciation slide, I suppose. No, yeah,
So there's
no,
there's two kind of archetypes that my group particularly fit in with, and one is the Valkyrie, and the other
yeah,
is the Norn. Yeah, so because
yeah,
I'm a record keeper, so I'm starting to move into my Norn phase of
yeah.
discovering I'm this galactic record keeper.
Well,
Do you know much about the Norns and the Valkyrie?
the Nornir is especially they are the not the weavers of fate. They're the ones
Mm,
who they're the ones who spin the actual threads of fate, and
mm,
it's actually Odin's wife Frigg who weaves those threads. But the Norns, they are like they're essentially the fates that you see in Greek mythology.
yeah,
So their names are Earth, Virvandi, and Skuld. Earth is the the past. She is the spinner of all things that have passed. Um, which kind of fits with what you've just described there as a record keeper,
yeah,
as all that which has come before. Um, that keeper of
yeah.
the galactic archive. Virvandi is that which is occurring now. So she spins the threads of potential, but active potential, that which is becoming.
Mm,
And Skuld is that which is to come. So they have a real close parallel to the Greek fates in that they spin the threads and they also cut the threads. They essentially are the ones that gave mortality to all things, that decreed that everything that is must end. Now, there are a couple of stories that surround the Norns. Some of them make them out to be quite villainous,
mm,
others not so much. I don't see them as villainous characters at all. It's just the way that Yggdrasil is formed. It's the laws of the universe that we live in.
mm,
Um, it's proven in quantum physics. The second law of thermodynamics, for example. Um, if energy exists within an enclosed system and no energy is being put into it, and it's just going around and around and around, then of course you get the law of entropy that comes into it, and energy dissipates, and that anything that is created must eventually be uncreated, and then that energy is recycled and turned into something else. So that is what the Norns represent, and also what the Jotun represent, because the Norns are actually giants. They are Jotun, but they're the mothers of the Jotun. They're the primordial giant race. The original story from the Eddas tells of Ymir, who was the primordial giant that was melted out of the cosmic ice, and he, as he approached Muspel, because Muspel and Niflheim were pre-existing states of being, extreme heat and extreme cold. When he stepped out of the ice and approached Muspel, he began to sweat, and the beads of sweat turned into the first few giants. So there was Buri and Besla. Their son Bor was the father of the Aesir, basically the father of Odin, and his two brothers Vili and Ve. Whether or not you want to see them as the same entity but three aspects, it's each to their own, really. But when Odin, Vili, and Ve saw how Ymir was just stumbling around in the void, not doing anything, trampling over the beings that were being created from him, they took umbrage with that and said, no, he needs to go. He's in the way. We can create something much better than this. So they ganged up on him and killed him. And then from his body, they made Midgard. So they made the earth at the center, right in the middle of Ginnungagap, which is the yawning void, or the emptiness. And from there, they planted a tree which grew into Yggdrasil with Midgard right at the center. So in the roots, you get, the lower world in the roots of the tree. Midgard's in the center. You get the Svartalfheim and Jotunheim are offshoots from that middle world. And then in the branches, in the canopy of the tree, is where the gods set up their homes in Vanaheim, Asgard, and Alfheim. So yeah, it kind of brings it back to the three worlds theory. But the where the Valkyries are concerned, a lot of people see them as like warrior angels, in a sense. There's not really anything in the mythology to suggest that they are warriors, only that they walk onto fields of battle and they claim the spirits of fallen warriors, and they take them up into the heavenly realms. Now, the souls of the fallen, you could say, those who felt fallen in battle, are split into two groups. Freya, the goddess who gave us Seiðr Magic, she gets first pick. So she gets the cream of the crop, essentially. All of the most noble souls, those who have, died sacrificing themselves to save others, etc., they are the ones that go with Freya. They reside in Vanaheim, in a place called Siminfjota, which is basically the many-seated hall. And it's a place of peace, where they can relax after their toils, you could say. The other half that aren't claimed by Freya go to Odin in Valhalla, or Valhall. And rather than sitting and chilling after living a difficult life on Earth, they are instead thrown into daily combat training, rewarded with feasting in the evening, and then they get up the next day and do it all over again. They go, they train, they fight, they're killed, they're resurrected, and then they go and have dinner again.
Yeah.
So anyone who's like, oh yeah, I'm going to Valhalla, it's like, no, you don't want to go to Valhalla.
No, it doesn't
You don't want
sound
to
the best, does it? No.
No,
Not
it's
when you
not
put it like that. No.
it's not great. The description of Valhalla it's a pretty bleak existence, really, because you're just rinsing and repeating until the final battle for the end of the world comes, and then they all go and fight against the forces of darkness. But the other half are having a great time in Valhalla. So if I'm going anywhere, I want to go there.
That's mad. That's cool. So tell us about the runes, because we're going to pull a rune for each person, right?
Yeah,
based on a number. So we've got a few people in the chat now.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, so we can pick a rune. So if I was to pick rune number, I'm just going to ask my 18.
18.
For me, what would I have picked?
16, 19, 20. So you would have picked Bjarkana.
Okay, good.
So, yeah.
Oh, so I've been getting a lot of hail lately, so
yeah. I mean, we live in turbulent times, so it's not surprising that people get hail a lot. I get hail a lot when I do my daily chores. But yeah, Bjarkana is a nice rune. It is quite a multifaceted rune. For anyone who doesn't know what Bjarkana looks like, it's essentially a spiky capital B. You'll see it in the Bluetooth symbol. Because
wondering if I've got my cards. Actually,
yeah,
I've got rune cards. Let me just see if I can find them. One sec.
Yeah. I wish I had my runes here to show you, really, because again, building work, everything's just in boxes at the moment, so I've no idea where anything is, but I don't want to go prattling on whilst you're looking for your cards. But yeah, in essence, Bjarkana is the rune of the goddess, as in the mother goddess. It's linked to the goddess Frigg, who is, of course, the wife of Odin. She's the mother of all human beings, you could say, and is revered as such. It's said that whenever a woman dies in childbirth, she is sent to Frigga's hall, where she's honoured for making that ultimate sacrifice as a mother. So Bjarkana really links to her as an energy and as an entity. So it encompasses every aspect of what makes a mother, essentially. You're talking about nurturing, you're talking about sanctuary and safety, patience, acceptance, unconditional love and acceptance of everything, really. It's a rune that is very heavily used in healing practices. In the ancient texts and in the old grimoires from Scandinavia, we're talking from the 1300s that these grimoires were written, but they're all based on oral traditions from much earlier on. Bjarkana is always described as being painted on to a person who has an illness or an injury. They would paint it on with a particular pigment that was made from birch sap with, additives to give it color. Because birch, particularly silver birch. There we go.
It's probably back to front. I don't think it.
Is that the deck I think it is?
Yes,
is that the Yellowhorn deck? The Yellowhorn deck?
Yes, it is.
Oh, what a deck that is.
It's a great deck. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
It's a great deck.
I
do have traditional runes as well, obviously. I do run Volda, which is runic Reiki. So we work with the Elder Futhark, but then we work with all these other sigils as well in Run Volda. It's really it's rune power, obviously. Oh no, yeah. So I picked the healing rune then, fresh start, rebirth, healing rune. That's what I picked.
You did indeed. Yeah, considering you're coming out of you're in a healing process. Yeah,
yeah,
you've
that's
started a healing process.
amazing.
So yeah, the fact that you've drawn that is, well, I say drawn that, that's the number that came to you.
Yeah,
That's the rune that was
it was
calling to you.
perfect.
So
yeah,
that's really appropriate. But yeah, the silver birch is associated with the Berkana rune, and that's what Berkan actually means, is the birch tree, and that's why where I live, or where you and I live, Birkenhead,
yeah,
was named because of all the silver birch trees. When the Norse settlers first came here, that's the first thing they saw was a big bank of birch trees, so they called it Birkenhead.
mm.
It's quite interesting, really, that they associate birch with healing, because it's been discovered that birch sap, particularly silver birch sap, has amazing antimicrobial and antifungal properties.
Mm.
So, birch sap was actually used to coat an open wound to create like a protective barrier over it to stop it from getting infected. And for people who had problems with the gut, they were suggested to ingest the sap. And I've started what is it? Sap tapping.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. Because I'm not that far from Bidston Hill, and there's birch all over the place there.
Yeah.
So at the end of the summer, the birches, they start to secrete the sap, as they're repairing any wounds in the bark in preparation for winter.
Yeah.
So the end of the summer into the autumn is the perfect time to go and tap a birch tree and actually collect some sap. It's extremely useful. Got loads of different applications. Sorry, I'm just getting a call coming through, which is a pain in the bum. I don't know how to. Oh,
We've lost him. So hopefully he'll be back in a second. I picked another card, jumped out. I was going to ask him about this. It's a snake. And it says the Jormungandr. So we'll see if this has a healing thing. But if you guys want to pick a number between 1 and 24 and just pop it in the chat. Because he doesn't have his runes on him because of the house move, but we can pick a number and he'll tell you what rune that you've picked. And we'll learn about that, how that can support you right now. Oh. Yeah. Here he comes.
okay.
Hi,
Yeah, I'm
Liam.
back. Hi.
Good to have you
Oh,
back.
yeah, that's
Also, there was a card that fell out when I was going through the cards, and it was the snake, the Jormungandr. How'd you say that?
Jormungandr.
So, do you think this is because I'm healing that I'm getting the snake coming out?
Yeah. It's weird because Jormungandr is given quite a bad rep in the mythology, but essentially snakes in every culture are associated with healing and also with rebirth and renewal.
Mm.
So anything where the serpent is concerned is to do with the renewal of the self. It's the shedding of the old skin.
Yeah.
And the fact that snake venom has been used for centuries, if not millennia, to heal all kinds of different illnesses. The idea that if you ingest the snake venom, it will purge the body.
Yeah.
The Amazonians still do this with frog poison, frog venom, called Cambo.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you'd be
yeah. I get
familiar
the
with Cambo.
Cambo call. I've not done it yet, but I feel like every frog is staring at me saying, "Lick me, lick me."
Lick a frog. And if it's not the one that makes you purge, it's the one that makes you hallucinate wild
Oh dear.
things.
So yeah, we don't recommend that unless you're with somebody who's been
Yeah,
through all
yeah,
the training. Yeah, it's a proper insured practitioner, facilitator.
yes.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of well, I hate saying snake oil salesmen, but
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of people out there who will take your money and then just leave you in the forest, just
Oh
tripping.
wow, that sounds bad.
It's not very good. It's not very good. But yeah, if you're gonna go out and do the thing, then yeah, it's always good to have a reputable,
Yeah.
trained professional to do it.
Mm,
But yeah, in the same way that people still use Cambo today, snake venom's
mm,
been used to purge the body of different illnesses,
yeah.
to help cleanse and realign the body. And it's said that, depending on the snake venom that's used, it brings you to a near-death state. So that
Wow.
when you actually come back from you're said to actually be reborn. You're a new
Mm,
person because the old person has died and the new person is has come forward. Um, so Jormungandr coming through as a sign of healing and renewal is quite interesting because, um, again, just for context, Jormungandr was one of the children of Loki,
right.
and he had three children with the giantess Angrboda. Um, Jormungandr was one. Lady Hela or Hel was the second. She's the
Mm,
goddess of the underworld.
yeah.
And the third was the dread wolf Fenrir or Fenris.
Mm,
Um, Jormungandr is probably the scariest of them because
all right.
Odin seeing how big this snake was getting and how
Mm,
venomous it was, um, feared that it would become a danger to the gods, especially because of the prophecy of Ragnarok.
yeah.
So he threw it into the sea, but rather than drowning, it flourished and grew so that it encircled the entire world.
Mm,
And Jormungandr is said to be the being that sinks ships and things like that. So when ships disappear, unless it's in a storm, if a
mm,
ship just sinks, then it's said to have been
yeah.
taken by Jormungandr. So it was massively feared in the old world. Um, but in order to survive in the sea, Jormungandr knew that it had to keep the water in somehow. And the only way to
Mm,
do that was to basically wrap itself around the world and hold the water in with its body. And to do that, it bit hold of its own tail.
yeah.
So we get the symbol of the Ouroboros, which is again about the cyclical nature of existence, about the
Mm,
nature of time, and the nature of death and rebirth.
mm,
Um, Also, the eternity of the soul, which is why he holds the water, because the water elementally is the closest thing to spirit. Um, so Jormungandr, even though he is a fearsome figure in the mythology, and brings about the death of Thor and things like that, without him, the seas would drain away and the earth would die. So,
yeah.
as a symbol, he
Yeah.
represents the
That's kind of cool.
necessity, yeah, the
Yeah.
necessity of life and death. So, yeah,
Yeah.
you can see him eating his own tail there, can you?
Yeah. Love
Yeah.
it. Maybe.
So, yeah,
Awesome. So we've got three people in the chat. So Maria's picked number 24.
24 is
Yeah.
Othal.
Mm,
I would say it's Odal because some people they switch Odal and Dagas around, um, and put them in different orders. But the
I said
oldest,
this one. Oh, where is it?
yes, yeah, yeah, that's
Where
the
is
one.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So Odal is the symbol of the womb of creation. It represents the Ginnungar the yawning void, from which everything came. So essentially, it's the potential for creation. It's unlimited potential. Odal, in a human sense, in a societal sense, is
Mm,
linked to the idea of property, but not just ownership of property, but the idea of your actual homeland. Um,
mm.
Unfortunately, Odal was co-opted and misused by the Nazis to represent the idea of blood and soil.
Oh wow. Okay.
The idea that every people or every person has an inherent connection to the land in which they were born.
Mm,
So rather than it becoming a Zionist ideal, which is what they wanted it to be, it actually speaks of, you could be someone of African heritage born in, you know, in the UK, and you'd have a soul connection and a blood connection to the soil of the UK rather than Africa. It's this idea that we have this inherent tie to the land and all of the potential that that brings about. So it's the working of the land, it's the tilling of the soil, it's the planting of the seeds, and the potential for the growth of spirit that comes from that as well. So Odal is it's a rune of promise. So if you've been...
your pronunciation of the runes is from the younger Fathark, isn't it? Instead of the elder Fathark,
yeah, there's Othala.
Yeah, because this says Othala, which is how I know it as Othal,
even though that's the elder Futhark representation,
Yeah.
Othala as a name actually wasn't used until the 13th century.
Right.
So Odal is linked to the Proto-Indo-European language. So in the same way that most people refer to the rune Tyr as Tyr or Tiu, which is the Saxon.
Oh, Tiwaz.
Tirwaz, yeah.
Yeah.
So Udal or Udalaj is the original name. So I always just refer to it as Udal.
Yeah, I'm like on the other end, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. So again, it's the correct shape, the correct drawing of it. And it's just because Othala was the popularized name, because that's the one that was written down by Snorri Sturluson in the 1400s. So of course that's how a majority of people know it. So there's no right or wrong way to say the runes names, really, because Raido could be Raido or Rado or Rad or Raid. Othal could be Othala, Othalash, Odal, Odalu, or just Od was another one. Any of those names will work because they're all used in different contexts.
Yeah.
So Ud could be used as a chant, just a monosyllable chant. I like Udal because it just, I don't know, it resonates in my chest area when I say it, and I feel connection to that particular name. So I don't know, maybe it's my heritage because I've got Norwegian, like old Norwegian heritage through my Scots ancestors.
You are very Viking. You're literally like 6'4" or something, aren't you?
Yeah, 6'2".
Doesn't seem like 6'2". You're a giant to me because I'm small.
Yeah, maybe it's because of my boots. My boots add an extra inch or something like. But yeah, no, I'm 6'2" officially.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one half of my family is all from Scotland.
Yeah.
And they have the Norwegian heritage coming through there, and the other half of my family are all from Ireland, so they've got the Icelandic heritage coming through through the Dublin Irish. Because for those, some people might know or might not know, Dublin was actually established as a Viking trade post.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So when the Icelanders and the Norwegians came and they started to settle in Ireland, to use that as a staging post to attack Western Britain, they set it up as a trading post. And because they developed positive relations with the Gaels there, it was never overrun and destroyed by the indigenous Irish. It was allowed to stay. So all my family are from around Dublin. On that side, so that they've all got the Icelandic and Norwegian heritage there as well. So it's come out quite strong in me compared to some
for
others.
sure.
Yeah.
So Rohini's picked number 7.
Number 7. So yes, Gebo or Gifu.
Oh, nice.
So you've probably got that card there as well. I'm sure you have.
Was it Gibo?
Yeah.
Got it.
It's a big X.
A gift.
Yes.
Yeah.
A gift.
But she's kind of celebrating her birthday at the moment, so that's perfect.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday. And that's a perfect rune to come out for you, actually.
Yeah.
Because it's
So it was back of this book. Oh no, it's just cut off.
Oh.
we can hear you now, Ro.
Oh, hi. Yeah, it just cut off like the hi.
Hi.
Been waiting.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, it's all been a bit weird with the internet today with this call. It's
Yeah.
all gone a bit crazy.
But we're enjoying, so thank you. We've just been on mute.
Oh no, that's fine. That's what I usually do in Teams calls and things. I usually stay on mute and just listen. So I don't blame you. Gebo or Gifu is the essence of gifts, giving, and gratitude. So it encourages us to give as much as we get, to be grateful for everything that we have, even if we don't have very much. And it also stands as a symbol of our inherent gifts as well. So not just the physical gifts, but your spiritual gifts, your intellectual gifts, your psychic gifts. If you have a gift for writing literature, or if you have a gift for sketching or painting or sculpture, if you have a gift for martial arts or for healing others, if you have a gift for storytelling, it's encouraging you to nurture that gift and share it with the world. And it's something that a lot of people in modern Western society really need to get more of, because we're too scared to express ourselves lately. Whether it's because there are so many people expressing themselves in so many different ways, there's always that worry of, will my gift, will my contribution be lost, in the crowd amongst all the noise? Will I be judged for my contribution, for my gift? Will it upset people? Will it, make people jealous, etc., etc.? Is it good enough? We're always having to worry about these things, so we don't share enough of ourselves with the world. So Gifu comes to us as a prompt to say, get out there and do it, because the world needs it. And when you give some of yourself to the world, you get so much back. So yeah, Gifu is a very positive rune. It has no reversed meaning, because whatever way you look at it, it looks the same. So again, it's the idea of what goes around comes around. Any good deed deserves a good deed in turn.
That's great. That's great. So we've just got one more.
Yeah.
Let me just find her
just say
message.
thank you. That's really apt. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah,
No,
I've had something very similar, and I had some idea about what to do, something along the lines of art, and it's it's like I'm getting a kick up the backside to do something. So thank you. Thank you.
No,
we've got Aklima, who's with Ro, and she's picked number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Ansush. Okay, that's an interesting one. Ansush or Ants or Os. Many different ways of saying this one. Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
Ansush, yeah. Ansush. This is the rune of speech, of truth, of breath. It's the rune most closely associated with Odin, because he's a wanderer and a messenger. He is also the keeper of truths and also the keeper of secrets. So Ansuj is a very, very multifaceted, complex rune. But mostly it comes to us to speak of truth in its purest form. So often it comes to people who are having disputes or having a difference of opinion with somebody else, or if they have a gripe that they're not airing. Again, it's a prompt to say, speak openly and speak truthfully, because to keep something secret or keep something hidden is to allow it to fester. And like when you hold your breath, your lungs start to burn, your face goes red, redder than mine, and believe me, that's saying something. And it's never good to hold anything in. So Answers comes to say, yeah, speak openly and truthfully. It also means, again, share your truth. So if you have a story that you need to share with somebody, if you feel like you can give somebody advice, or tell someone something that they need to hear. It's saying, don't be afraid to say that. Don't be afraid to share that or to offer that advice, because it can only come to good. If it comes in its reversed meaning, like if I was doing a rune cast and answers came out upside down, it would be talking about things that aren't being said. It would be discussing secrets that need to be brought to light, dishonesty, etc., etc. But as we're just dealing with the number association that's come through, I would take it in its positive sense and say that it's urging you to speak openly and to share your thoughts and to share your feelings.
I love that. That's brilliant. And this has been so good, Liam. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
No, you're very welcome.
Do you want to tell
Liam?
everybody how they can connect with you? Yes, Ro,
Oh.
sorry.
Sorry, my friend's a bit shy to speak, but that is so apt. Again, it's like really touching on work situation at the moment. So you
Wow.
are spot on. Thank you so much. Thank
No,
you.
that's great. As I say, it's the runes that are speaking. I'm just passing the message on. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a good message.
I'm glad
Thank
that's
you.
helpful. And
Tell everyone how they can connect with you online, social media, that kind of thing.
So I have a Facebook page called The Wandering Hermit. You can contact me on there if you want to book in for a reading or if you want to book in for a healing. Because I also, as I say, I do the shamanic Reiki, which is very, very effective. I've had nothing but positive outcomes from every single shamanic Reiki session I've ever given. To the point where you can actually physically feel it working. So if you want to book in for a reading or a healing, you can message me on there. I also have an Instagram and a Twitter page as well, which are linked to my Facebook. So, if you're not on Facebook, you can reach me on either of those other two platforms. I will be at the Wirral Pathways Festival this year in November, along with Julia. I will be giving a talk on the runes. So if you'd like to learn more about them, then by all means, if you're able to, come along, and we'd be glad to have you. And I'm sure it'll be a brilliant day. There's always great local speakers, local practitioners, local craftspeople selling their wares there as well. There's always a brilliant selection of mystical items that you can get. There's always a great selection of books on various subjects you can get. I'm currently writing a book on the runes as well. So again, if you're really interested in rune lore and rune working, then I'll be putting updates about that on my Facebook page. So keep an eye out for those.